You know, the old scripts no longer work. That's been proved conclusively. We can see that, right? We can see. I mean, this is London. I've lived here for a couple of decades now, full time, and things have really changed markedly in terms of the dating marketplace here. Now, people will say, oh, well, you're in the Anglosphere, so it's impossible, it's over. And that's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. The truth of the matter is there are people meeting here every day, every hour, every minute, okay? People are meeting, people are getting together, and things are happening. So it's not to say that the Anglosphere is completely wrecked, but things are different, okay? And things are different because of a confluence of technological advancements, right? So we have the rise of smartphones, okay? And on smartphones we have the apps. So we have Instagram, and then we have the dating apps. We have Tinder, we have Bumble, we have Hinge, etc., etc. And that has created a unique landscape where it feels like there's infinite choice. It feels like people can just, you know, swipe and swipe and swipe, and there's this ocean of possibilities out there. And the downside to this is that's been less the case for guys, right? So guys have come into this new paradise and found that slowly it's become more difficult for them. For women, it would appear the opposite is true. So a girl will get thousands and thousands of messages, thousands of DMs, etc., etc. Okay, great. Well, good for them. Now, that's not to say that it's a paradise for women either, because women also have huge complaints about the current dating landscape, okay? The matches that they get are often low quality, right? They're often pursued by people that they're not particularly interested in, that they don't particularly want to meet. Fine. So it's suboptimal for them, but it's certainly suboptimal for guys. And since these videos are primarily aimed at guys, we need to address that. So, as I said at the beginning, what you need to understand is that the old scripts are no longer relevant, okay? They no longer work in today's age. You need to adopt a new script. So what is the new script? Well, the new script is founded in an understanding and an acceptance of the fact that nowadays things are very different, okay? It may have been possible back in 2012 to learn some lines on the internet, to know a few clever techniques, a few clever tricks, and you could meet some beautiful girl and you guys would get into a great relationship and it would go from there. Today, that isn't possible, and the reason it's not possible is because of the power of comparison, right? The power of comparison, because remember, every time you go and speak to somebody, every time you match with somebody on an app, every time you're in a bar and you go over and you say hi, you are being compared silently to all the other guys that woman has access to, okay? Or who have contacted her, or who've DM'd her, or whatever, you know? All of that stuff. And so, and of course, the profiles of those guys are going to massively vary. Now, as I said, a lot of it is very low quality interest. A lot of it is guys that she wouldn't touch with a 10-foot barge pole. But some of them are going to be very well put together, all right? And this is where it really gets rocky, because now AI's entered the picture as well. AI and fake profiles. So now she's going to be hit with at least a few profiles that look amazing, okay? That look absolutely stunning. Now, whether those guys are real, the extent to which AI is being used, we don't know, nor does she. But that doesn't really matter. And also as well, we talked many times about the phenomenon of the guy offering to fly her over to Dubai, offering to fly her over to Italy or the south of France or whatever. And that genuinely happens, right? This isn't just online banter. This is something, I have female friends and they tell me about this stuff happening quite frequently, right? So it definitely happens. Now, do those girls take up all those opportunities? No, generally, of course they don't, right? Because they're not stupid. They're not just going to randomly fly to Monaco with some dude they haven't even met. But nevertheless, what's the knock-on effect of that? The knock-on effect of that is that the level of expectation, okay, the level of participation has risen. Because if in Instagram there's a dude with an amazing 12-pack on a yacht in Monaco inviting her over, and then you rock up and you are, for whatever reason, suboptimal in that equation, you know, is she going to look very favourably on you? Probably not. All right, it's human nature. It's not about cruelty. It's about selection bias, right? And selection bias dictates that she is going to go for the highest value guy she can get. And if her determination of the baseline for that, the baseline for the highest value guy she can get, has been adjusted because of the realities of the marketplace, which is now much more fluid, right? A lot of barriers to trade, you might say, have been knocked down because of the internet, because of smartphones and the apps. And it might be that price, I use that metaphorically, has been inflated because some of these guys are fake, you know, some of these profiles are fake, but nevertheless, that's the perception that she has of where she is in the dating marketplace. Inevitably, that's going to make it tougher for the average guy, okay? So people will say, and I don't entirely agree with this either, because dating's always been difficult, but people will imagine this glorious time in the past when the guy from the local village pub could just marry the most beautiful girl in the village because of proximity, okay? Well, those days are long gone. Those days are long gone, because it's not about proximity anymore, right? The proximity advantage that people may have had in the past, and again, I mean, look, she will always have optimized for the highest value guy, right? But let's assume you are the highest value guy in the village and you happen to work in the bar, whereas 25 years ago, there's a decent chance that you might have ended up dating and maybe even getting married. Now, is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. Is it less likely? Yeah, because at some point she's probably going to leave the village and move to London or move to a big city. And also, she's on all of these apps and she's getting all of this attention from these high value dudes. So her sense of the possible, her sense of what is out there for her, or what might be out there for her, has been massively expanded, okay? Is the same true for guys? Not really. I don't think it works really quite the same way around. I mean, it is true that guys can match with women in foreign countries, and sometimes, you know, those women are going to be arguably of high quality, but how many guys are actually following through with that? How many guys are actually you know, going to other countries and doing that stuff? I mean, probably not that many, and certainly they're not being financially helped to do that in the same way that women will be, right? So women have this uniquely advantageous position, and again, you know, this is no shade to them. I'm just talking about the realities of what's happening, right? And again, realities that I actually talk to female friends about on a daily basis, so not just made up. So the old scripts don't work anymore. You have to come at this with a new mindset and a new understanding. And what that really means is, in the end, aggressive self-improvement is the only way forward, okay? If you want to make a dent in the current dating marketplace, the only option that you've got, the only possibility, is to self-improve. Now, the most important thing that you have to improve is not your looks, it's not your wardrobe, it's not even your money necessarily, although all those things are going to help. The most important thing that you need to upgrade is your social skills, because the hack here, the key thing that differentiates here, is the ability to go up and have a conversation with somebody in real life and be persuasive, be magnetic face to face in real life, because most men can't do that. All right, even high value guys here who are booking tables in expensive nightclubs and they've got expensive cars and all the rest of it, even they can't do it, okay? So, and there's a whole other story there, right? Because we work with clients like that, and some of those guys, you know, they will spend 10 grand on a table and sit there on their own because they're not able to interact. They're not able to, you know, to make the magic happen in person, okay? If you can make the magic happen in person, that is to say, be charismatic, pull her in, draw her into your reality, then you are in a very, very good place, okay? And look, quite aside from dating, because that's one aspect of your life, but for all the other aspects of your life as well, this ability to interact in an effective way with other people is just super, super key, all right? I recently heard somebody saying that somebody from Gen Z who they knew was too afraid to pick up the phone to make a call to a potential employer, right? I mean, imagine that. This person can't even pick up the phone to make a call. Would they be keen to go in and have a meeting with them? I'm not sure, maybe, maybe not, but it doesn't seem likely, right? Because we're also conditioned by our phones, by videos, by watching TikToks and all this nonsense, that we're not used to going out and just being social. We're not used to being a social being. I mean, in a sense, if you want to be melodramatic, you could say our humanity is being taken away from us by technology, right? And of course, in a way, that's the end game, because what we're looking at is AI being sort of fused with humans' neurological system, right? To create a sort of a half man, half machine type entity. I think we're quite a long way off from that yet, but it's in a sense, you could argue it's already happening. We're doing it to ourselves because we are subletting a whole bunch of our consciousness to our phone. Okay, we're subletting a whole bunch of our mental bandwidth to an electronic device or to a digital network. So it's really key that we continue with this stuff and that we work on it. Okay, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you enjoyed this one. Do leave me a comment, leave me a like, and I will see you again very soon. Bye bye.